Was this the finest American automobile that was never made? There's nothing to see here. I'm really not trying to hide anything. Look, over there! There is only 7 of these cars in existence, and this is definitely not one of them. Okay, maybe it is. A world of wonder, where fantastical music machines provide the soundtrack for a tantalizing stroll through history. Vintage automobiles and memorabilia stimulate the senses around every chromed curve and corner. This is Inside Stahls. The story behind this 1930 Ruxton Model C Roadster is kind of like explaining to my wife why I was late for dinner. It's complicated. It was one clouded by lawsuits, manufacturing difficulties, and the Great Depression. Yet many believe it's the finest American automobile ever made. That is, if you consider a total of only 96 cars and roughly only 30 to 40 that ever made it to an actual customer as being a car that was made. The cat is out of the bag. The car is here. So obviously it was made, but it never reached mass production volume for a variety of reasons. Girl, we need to talk. Let's go back to the beginning. An engineer named William Mueller was working for the Budd Company in the 1920s when he began developing a front-wheel drive system. Mueller had a racing background and saw the success front-wheel drive Indy cars had and figured it could translate to daily drivers. Edward Budd loved the idea and believed he could sell it to major auto manufacturers. Mueller went to work, not only on developing the drivetrain, but also creating a full working prototype. Most of the cars at that time were equipped with a conventional drivetrain. For clearance purposes, the body sat on top of the chassis. Mueller's front-wheel drive design didn't require all of that clearance, which allowed the body to be channeled to fit around the chassis. As a result, the car sat 10 inches lower than many of its contemporaries. The lower stance eliminated the need for running boards found on many of the vehicles of that era. By 1928, a prototype was complete and was getting a lot of attention. That's when a guy named Archie Andrews enters the picture. He was an original Wolf of Wall Street kind of a dude, a major shareholder that also happened to sit on Budd's board of directors. Long story short, he stole the prototypes and Mueller away from Budd under the ruse that it was a legitimate business deal. Andrews' intent was to build front-wheel drive luxury cars, but he had a problem. No place to build the cars. A deal with the Hupp Automotive Company lasted only a month, so Andrews eventually formed a holding company called New Era Motors, and this is how the car eventually gets its name. During prototype production, the car actually sported a question mark hood ornament, which is really cool, and one of the things Andrews got right because it created a sense of mystery and intrigue around the car. But eventually, Andrews basically sold the naming rights to the car. He found an investment banker named William Ruxton to invest in the business, and in turn, the car would be named a Ruxton. Andrews was quick to share the news, but according to Ruxton, the deal was not finalized, and he ended up suing to get the naming rights back. Ruxton lost, but to this day, the car bears his name against his eventual wishes. This Andrews guy was a real piece of work. But his story and what he did is a big reason why the Ruxton never reached its full potential. The combination of his shady business dealings, the inability to find a manufacturer to produce the Ruxton in mass quantities, and the eventual stock market crash in October of 1929 forced Andrews and his New Era Motors to file for bankruptcy in November of 1930. Despite all of the turmoil, the Ruxton was an amazing automobile. The vibrant body colors were the work of a famous New York set designer named Joseph Urban, and the high-end materials used for the interior were provided by Schumacher of New York. The Ruxton here at Stahls is one of only 7 roadsters in existence with coachwork provided by Baker Roulet. The Ruxton is the rarest of the top 20 U.S. luxury cars registered between 1927 and 1934. This is chassis number 10C72. It's powered by a 4.4-liter Continental straight 8-cylinder motor that turned out 100 horsepower. Mueller's front-wheel drivetrain included a 3-speed manual transmission. Underneath, things were smoothed out by a semi-elliptical spring-release suspension. It featured a rumble seat, dual side-mounted spare tires, a folding top, and a rear luggage rack. And by the time Ruxton went into production, the question mark hood ornament was replaced with a griffin and Ruxton lettering. You needed some cash to afford one of these cars. The most affordable option started at $4,500, 9 times the price of a new Ford, and 40% higher than fellow front-wheel drive competitor, the Cord L29. Of the 96 Ruxtons built, only 19 remain today, a remarkable number when you consider the short production period from 1929 to 1931. As for Andrews, his legacy was one of litigation. Despite going out of business in the 1930s, many of the lawsuits filed against him were not settled until the 1960s. Meanwhile, the Ruxton's legacy lives on as a superb vehicle that never really had a chance, and you may or may not be looking at it right now. We get in our cars every day, turn the key, hit the road, and don't think twice about front wheel, rear wheel, or all-wheel drive. But if and when you do, give a nod to William Mueller and the Ruxton, because nearly 100 years ago, that man and that car paved the way we drive today. And if you want to see what it looked like then, make sure you park all 4 of your wheels here at Stahls.